Ethical implications of generative AI in FinTech, a qualitative analysis on PayPal. PayPal's current use and potential future use of generative AI within their customer service, fraud detection, and technology portfolio can raise ethical implications regarding data privacy, security, and transparency, and how can PayPal mitigate these risks and implications. PayPal is a continuously evolving global fintech company that has been integrating generative AI into operational services as well as their customer-centric services, which has been raising ethical concerns due to privacy, sharing, and security, as well as transparency concerns for customers. When using generative AI, it is important to address these concerns and mitigate any risks to ensure the company is operating within compliance measures and maintains a good reputation. PayPal's technology portfolio includes online payment processing, including Venmo, which is peer-to-peer payments, Zoom, which is international transfers, cryptocurrency, buy now, pay later services, and digital wallets. Throughout this research, I will be focusing on gathering data from PayPal users, fintech experts, cybersecurity experts, and regulatory bodies on the use of generative AI within the financial technology industry, which will include both qualitative and quantitative data. PayPal is a leader in digital payment solutions, and they are focused on financial services with key services and offerings within online payment processing, digital wallets, P2P payments, merchant services, and cross-border payments, as well as buy now, pay later options. PayPal operates in a very evolving market, and the digital payments market is currently rapidly growing through e-commerce and mobile technology, and its competitors include traditional credit card-based payment networks, fintech companies, e-commerce companies, cryptocurrency and blockchain companies, banks and other financial institutions, and digital wallet providers. The data that will be collected and analyzed will be about competitors in the market as well as trends and challenges that occur within the industry, including data about mobile payments, e-commerce growth and the demand for online shopping, cross-border payments, financial services for underserved populations and demographics, regulatory bodies, cybersecurity within the industry, AI and machine learning for fraud detection and customer services, generative AI within the financial industry, an analysis to identify patterns and trends within data, and a case study analysis of AI implementation within FinTech. The following information will be used to develop new strategies or to make changes to existing methods currently being used by PayPal for evaluation. Analyzing PayPal's current infrastructure and technology, the benefits of implementing AI framework, concerns with implementing AI framework, the impact on user experience, user trust, and regulatory compliance, and the ease of implementation or continuous operation. The key technologies include generative AI, which is available for customer service, including chatbots, fraud detection, and personalized services for improvements in security and efficiency. Existing AI and machine learning applications can be enhanced for fraud detection and customer service use, and blockchain can be used to enhance security and transparency with PayPal's current infrastructure by securing transactions and verifying identification. APIs can be integrated with current applications, including payments and blockchain, for the security of transactions, identity verification, customer service, and much more. Generative AI and API models working together can provide efficient functionality and personalized experiences for users while also prioritizing the safety of the data being transmitted. Building versus buying. Based on the technology that PayPal already operates on, I believe that buying existing APIs will be beneficial for PayPal due to the following reasons. The ability to integrate with other software or third-party services allows for quicker and more efficient migration. The ability to purchase an API that can handle the expected volume of work while also having a reliable security measure in place if purchased from a reliable seller. Reliability with encryption, authentication, and understanding of compliance measures required to operate, and the ability to use pre-trained AI and machine learning models for specific tasks or volume of tasks. A generative AI chatbot can benefit PayPal's customers while also following their goals and values, including transparency, providing brief answers or suggestions based on questions or tasks asked by the user, avoiding jargon and efficiently answering questions or giving explanations. Data privacy can be focused with the control of data being used by the chatbot. Privacy settings will allow users to view the types of data accessible, and an option to delete specific data and chat history, including transaction history, personal information, and other conversation history. And authentication, the chatbot will require two-factor authentication to access private or sensitive information. Potential cyber threats and vulnerabilities will include sensitive data including personal information, chat history, and financial transactions, chatbot prompts and responses, authentication or authorization to various users, and data used to train the generative AI model. For APIs, a weak API authentication can lead to data breaches or manipulated data. Data storage includes insufficient encryption can cause data breaches and expose sensitive or confidential user information. For chatbots, a cyber attack can change or manipulate the chatbot's responses or prompts while also saving chat history and potentially sensitive data and lead to biased and harmful outputs. And for authentication, unauthorized users can access sensitive data or information if there is no multi-factor authentication, access control, or if there are weak passwords. The data science-driven decision-making strategy will focus on data encryption, which implementing encryption for all sensitive data as well as during transmission. Fraud detection will focus on training the machine learning models to detect any fraudulent activity, unusual behavior, anomalies, and chatbot usage patterns and trends. And authentication, using strong authentication and authorization while also restricting access to certain sensitive information through the chatbot, and implementing multi-factor authentications and role-based access control, as well as a zero-trust software while helping protect sensitive information. Regulatory compliance will ensure that compliance with GDPR and CCPA regulations, as well as within the FinTech, anti-money laundering industry, and know your customer procedures. This will allow users to modify and delete their personal data, conduct regular security audits, maintain an up-to-date incident response plan, conduct regular penetration testing to identify vulnerabilities, and have a risk mitigation plan. Hiring teams of user experience researchers, AI and machine learning engineers, cybersecurity experts, data scientists and engineers, risk management teams, customer service representatives, information technology, and compliance teams to conduct reviews and secure any potential vulnerabilities and have necessary resources and experts to maintain safety and secure data. The 3-year plan for initial deployment and ensuring we have the appropriate technology, risk mitigation plans, and we are compliant with rules and regulations as well as insured funding will include data, simulations, and assumptions. Data will include gathering data from customer service requests and user interaction data, as well as user behavior data based on transactions and customer service experience. Simulations will include chatbot simulations and responses to integrate with customers' accounts, transactions, and support desks, and the types of user questions and issues for fraud detection. Assumptions will include the timeline and costs for development and deployment, API, blockchain, machine learning integration costs, cybersecurity, infrastructure, and training costs, improved fraud detection, increased user satisfaction, and the increase of customer service workers and increased efficiency. The timeline for this will include the following. Year 1, ensure funding, analyzing historical data and feedback, deploying a chatbot to a selected user base for a pilot program, begin various testing phases, and monitoring performance and feedback to make adjustments as needed. Year 2 will deploy a chatbot for a larger user base, integrate with various internal services offered by PayPal, including Buy Now, Pay Later, and then continue to monitor performance and feedback to make improvements based on the data and user experience. Year 3, the chatbot will be deployed to all PayPal users. We will continuously monitor the model's performance and user feedback for any enhancements needed, and continue to monitor rules and regulations to remain compliant. The milestones of this AI chatbot will include completion of the AI chatbot and training model, successful deployment of the pilot program, larger user base, and then for all PayPal users, and then lastly, integration with PayPal services. Risk and risk mitigation. Data privacy. To mitigate these risks, we have to integrate APIs for data sharing, blockchain, for data encryption and authentication and access control, perform regular security audits and testing and penetration testing to identify potential issues. To mitigate bias, we will use machine learning to train the model on all and various types of historical data sets to analyze data and as well as to train the model to have a variety of responses for user interactions. To mitigate regulatory risks, we will ensure that we are up to date with the rules and regulations including GDPR and CCPA, and risk teams to ensure we are remaining compliant by performing audits. And for third-party risk management concerns, We will continuously monitor third-party integration systems, including APIs, blockchains, and machine learning technologies, to ensure correct and efficient security measures are in place. Cross-selling opportunities will include personalized experiences, including ways to use buy now, pay later services or Zoom services, and more depending on the user interaction history. Marketing and promotional offers can be suggested for users that are PayPal customers and continuously utilizing more services that PayPal has to offer. To have efficient user experience, the chatbot has 24/7 availability to assist users instantly, improved efficiency with faster response times and resolutions for any customer questions or issues, increased accessibility for individuals from anywhere and anytime, personalized recommendations and responses based on user transaction history, conversation history, and data, and allows users to clear their transaction and conversation history and allow access to data they see necessary for increased transparency and data privacy concerns. The Financial Analytics Strategy Plan will assess the cost-effective ways to implement the AI chatbot and budget for the AI chatbot deployment. The estimated costs will be around $600,000 for the development, training, and integration with other technologies from the initial pilot to full deployment, and tracking can be done in different categories by interactions, forecast, the types of interactions, the need for human escalation, and customer experience surveys. The pilot phase estimated costs are about $230,000. The deployment phase estimated costs are about $130,000, and ongoing costs are estimated at about $140,000. Security and customer support estimated costs are approximately $100,000, and all costs are subject to change through the initial pilot program and deployment, as well as continuously for upkeep with the model. The pilot phase costs will include development, deployment, personnel, testing and auditing, as well as quality assurance. The initial deployment phase costs will include infrastructure, maintenance, security, integration, customer support, and personnel, and full deployment will include infrastructure, continuous integrations, maintenance, security, customer support, and hopefully a decrease in personnel. Financial considerations include build versus buy for the A model and other infrastructures, APIs, and more, the complexity of the data and the volume of the data for training purposes, hiring or using in-house security and compliance specialists, talent acquisition for engineers and having contract versus full-time employees, and integrating with other PayPal systems. The associated regulatory environment includes the General Data Protection Regulation, which applies to personal data, data collection, processing, storage, and user rights regardless of where PayPal operates, to protect personal and confidential information used for training and while in use by customers. The California Consumer Privacy Act and the California Privacy Rights Act grants California residents specific rights regarding their information, including the right to know and delete their data. Other state and national laws regarding data privacy, financial industry regulations regarding consumer financial information, help in the use of financial institutions, the anti-money laundering requirements, know your customer regulations for verification with customer identity and other recognition procedures, the Fair Credit Reporting Act for credit eligibility, including buy now and pay later options, the Truth in Lending Act for transparency on financial products and recommendations via AI chatbot, and any other AI-specific regulations for emerging technologies that focus on risk management, ethical considerations, and transparency. Proactively identifying any potential risks and having risk management plans in place can enhance security, reputability, and regulatory compliance of PayPal's AI-generated chatbot to stay in compliance with any regulatory bodies and maintain a good reputation within the AI and FinTech space. Data security risks include unauthorized access to personal information, transaction history, chatbot history, or other data stored and transmitted by the chatbot. And a mitigation plan for this is encrypting all sensitive data while transmitting or in storage, multi-factor authentication, and zero-trust security, regulatory audits and testing of APIs and blockchain-related infrastructure. Regulatory compliance risks include failure to comply with laws and regulations regarding data privacy, security, crimes, and customer protection. The mitigation for this includes maintaining a regulatory compliance team to conduct regular audits for AI applications, as well as continuous research regarding regulatory laws and regulations to understand any changes or new rules set in place. Adhering to current regulatory bodies from pilot phase to deployment phase and maintaining transparency will help reduce any of those risks. Operational and reputational risks include system failures or vulnerabilities within the AI chatbot platform or other PayPal products and services, data breaches, and more, which can lead to reputational risk as well. To mitigate this, maintaining system monitoring and alerts, conducting regular testing and audits, and having API and other security measures in place, as well as having a disaster recovery plan that continuously gets updated. To mitigate reputational risks, continuously monitoring customer feedback and surveys to identify and address any negativity or concerns, as well as maintaining clear communication strategies, as well as updating customers and the general public and addressing any issues that may arise clearly and letting customers know the plan of action to resolve any issues and how to prevent them from occurring again. The decision-making framework focuses on sustainability, social impact, and transparency. For sustainability, focusing on environmental and energy consumption of the AI chatbot to prioritize a framework that lasts and adapts to these environmental and sustainable measures while also remaining compliant with regulatory bodies. For social impact, ensuring financial inclusion for all users and customers, including accessibility for those needing it, including underserved areas of users, focusing on building a strategy and a framework that will target all areas of users, including those needing accommodations and those with bias or fraud concerns, and much more, to contribute to a positive experience and reputation. Adhering to all regulations and addressing concerns and security within FinTech benefits not only the company but users as well. Transparency focuses on clear and concise communication with all users, customers, and stakeholders of PayPal's AI chatbot. Practice to ensure customers are aware of any data handling, sharing, or any risk-related issues that might arise, as well as mitigation plans. By prioritizing data privacy, security, and being transparent, we can prevent misleading information and control the reputation of the company. For ethical considerations, we will focus on ethical assessments to identify potential ethical risks and concerns, bias detection strategies to identify and mitigate potential biases in the data and model outputs, conduct stakeholder interviews with cybersecurity, FinTech, and regulatory experts to gain perspective on ethical considerations, and privacy and security principles and protocols to protect user data, minimize data collection, and ensure user control and prevent unauthorized access. The development and deployment phase will include an established ethical review board oversight to oversee design, training, data, and testing, utilizing diverse data sets for training the AI model to minimize bias, performing regular audits for biases in its responses, and maintaining clear user communication with users regarding AI chatbot capabilities and limitations, data transparency to provide users with clear information regarding how their data is being used and protected by the AI chatbot. User control over data is necessary for users to access and delete their data associated with the chatbot and their conversation history, and human oversight for escalating complex or sensitive issues, as well as to gather feedback on the chatbot's performance and ethical implications, and maintaining regular ethical audits of the AI's model to ensure ongoing compliance within the framework and any regulatory changes that may have occurred, as well as data handling practices for users. Sustainability and impact focuses on environmental, which energy consumption of the AI framework can be tracked through kilowatts per month or year for operation and training purposes. Efficiency can be tracked by tracking the resources required per interaction with a customer, going paperless and having incentive services for customers opting in for paperless updates and tracking the amount of users wishing to no longer receive mail. And optimization can be tracked by determining the energy consumption over extended periods of time. The social impact can be tracked by customer satisfaction surveys, which can measure user satisfaction on a case-by-case basis based on the type of interactions they had with the AI chatbot. Tracking accessibility metrics of the chatbot to determine the percentage of users in different demographics, including age ranges, those with disabilities by location, and underserved areas, as well as tracking resolution times for the chatbot to resolve customer inquiries and whether human interaction was required, and tracking fraudulent activities identified and prevented by the AI-powered chatbot. And governance focuses on compliance with data privacy regulations, including GDPR, CCPA, and other relevant data privacy regulations. ethical review board tracking and implementation of recommendations made by the AI chatbot. Transparency can be tracked to assess the accessibility of information provided to users regarding data usage, functionality, and limitations of the AI chatbot. And ethical concerns can be reported by the number of concerns that were raised by users or even employees, as well as tracking the type of concerns and resolutions. And security audits and penetration testing is required to be tracked and scheduled for the AI chatbot and any other related infrastructure. Continuous adaptability will include active feedback, monitoring industry trends and emerging technologies, internal reviews, and communication with the general public.